All right, welcome in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and man, we are excited today because today, Schlegs, it is game day. It's Monday,
Monday, baby.
January 20th, the day we have been waiting for. The Buckeyes will be taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at probably 8 o'clock. I'm not even sure what the actual game time is tonight. Probably like 8:30, something like that. It'll be late for the kids, but it should be a fun one. Should be a big night. Super juiced for that. So, like, did you ever have since as we're getting into this, it's obviously a huge game. Did you ever have any like superstitions, anything that
Ooh,
you kind of looked at that you would do every time, or big
yeah,
game stuff, or
yeah.
anything there?
I never had like a big game superstition, but I definitely had some superstitions. I remember in high school, I wore a cutoff Superman shirt every game. You just had a big S for Super Schlegs. Boom, underneath my jersey. I had that every single time. I listened to the same soundtrack in the same sequence every single time.
What
It
is
was
that? Last
always
Last Mohicans?
Nope. I listened to the Braveheart soundtrack on my
Oh,
CD player from 1 to 17. I let it go. And then if I didn't get there because of the timing or whatever, I would always skip to 17 and I listened to that. Like that was it. Like even when we were playing, I would go in there and like I would
boom.
go over my tip sheet and I would take a nap and I would do all these things. So yeah.
The bagpipes get
Well,
you going.
what was yours? Track 17 was the one that he was being tortured. But I don't know why, but it was like it's not that it got me excited that he was being tortured. It was just the buildup of it, and then they got their freedom with Robert the Bruce.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The
What
Patriots,
was yours?
the Patriots of Scotland, it's like starving, outnumbered. They
Yeah,
fought like warrior poets.
they fought.
They fought like Scotsmen and won their freedom. For me, it was interesting in the NFL. I had like a little iPod, which was like 8 pound, 8 times thicker than this, and but it had like a little mini color screen at the top right here. By the way, it's pretty sweet. This is my son when we went to Philadelphia last year, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago for his birthday. But and I thought it was so awesome. I was able to download Gladiator on there, and I would watch like the final sequence, kind of like you with Braveheart. I would watch the final sequence where he would come down and Commodus is talking to uh, Maximus, before he stabs him and everything, and it's like, you think I'm afraid of you? He's like, I think you've been scared your whole life, me, Schlegs. And, and they stab him, conceal the wound, and he gets up there. Like he's imagining his family. I'm like, gosh, it's like, it just got me juiced. And like they're playing
Yeah,
the music, because it's all Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It's tremendous, and at the end, it's like, is Rome worth one good man's life? Who will help me carry him? And just like watching that used to get me like juiced up, kind of like Braveheart. I mean, it's the same type of deal. Those two movies I always hold in like high esteem as far as getting you juiced for games. So that was it. And I'd always take my risks the same way. I'd always go left first. Um, yeah, take my left first and then take my right. And always do that and like in that order and like sit there and just kind of listen to music and go through it. And I always had the same kind of soundtrack. Never anything like crazy specific, but yeah, that would be there. But that's a big game for these guys because here's the thing: I've always found comfort in routines, and this is one thing that I don't think people realize a lot. It's not that I was ever superstitious; I just like the routine
yep,
because it was always the same, regardless of whether you were playing, the Bad News Bears or the Chicago Bears. It did not matter. The team that you play, like you're going through, and it's going to give you that consistency. And so whether there's 50 people there or 50 million watching on television, and 100,000 in front of you, it was always the same. And so like
yep,
as you get there, like it was always like walking through those same processes of preparing for the game, checking over your game notes, and doing all the same thing. And so people are always like, you're superstitious. I'm like, I really wasn't. I'm a heavily routine based person. I always have been that way. And maybe that's a huge flaw of mine, but the routine has always given me comfort. And
yeah.
that comfort allows me to stay calm and stay focused as we go through it.
Well, we teach that, Bob. Like we teach guys to own their own routine, own their own recovery, own your own routine prior to practice. We teach them those type of things. I mean, routine is good. Routine is discipline. Routine is what allows you to play faster and be more comfortable in those situations. So it's never a bad thing. And I mean, yeah, guys, like even when I go into a squat rack or when I deadlift, like I do the exact same thing every single time. Like that's my routine. And it's the same thing when you go into a play. It's alignment, assignment, alerts, and adjustments. It's the same routine every single time. So, no, those are not bad things. Those are good things. Those are good habits.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to talk about a guy right now. We've kind of highlighted this and some people under the radar. We talked earlier this week about the G. Scott play. Schlegs, how much are we squatting right now? Tell the people. 550 pounds? Is that
550? Yeah, that's for just like probably one. I don't know. I mean, me and I'll tell you who was really, really surprised me, and I'm feeling better. So like the last time I did that, I wasn't feeling great on my right patella, but I've been working on it here at the Armory. I've been getting the laser on it, getting in the arc bed, doing a lot of like prehab stuff on it, making sure it's firing. Got my quad. Like I wasn't able to fire my VMO for a hot minute. Now I'm actually can. So it's going to get back up there. Like, and I won't even say I have a goal to get 600 because I don't. I just like to feel good. But I was able to do that okay. So I'm just like, well, I did it. So that's my max. Deadlift, I'm probably around 635, with a good back slap.
Yeah.
Probably 635, maybe 650 on a good day. Yeah.
Like that. That's good.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, you heard that there. I'd like to highlight people that we haven't really talked about a whole lot. Maybe they're flying under the radar. We talked about the defensive tackles, Ty Leak, Williams, Ty Hamilton, what they've done. Because they haven't really posted a ton of stats, but they've been critical pieces in that pass rush and in stopping the run. They're beefy dudes. And even your guy K-Mac and Hero Canoe that have come in and done a heck of a job in there as well. And then we talked about, G. Scott and what he's been doing and kind of under the radar. And, all of a sudden he's battling for 3 extra yards, which are yards of consequence that mattered. And what he did, and it threw kind of Will Kazmarek in there as well. But there's another guy on the defensive side of the ball that I don't think really gets his flowers a lot because we talk about that D-line. We talk about Caleb Downs. We have Lathan Ransom on the show. The corners have been playing really good. But it's a guy that probably is the most versatile player in the back end of their defense. And that's Jordan Hancock. And we can toss that up there, Pat, like what he's been able to do. He's a guy, Schlegs, that came in. He's played some outside corner. He can play slot corner. He can play safety. He's physical in the run game. And so because of that, you don't need to rotate a ton. You can go 3 linebackers some, but him being your 5th defensive back, he can cover big tight ends because he's a big dude. He can play in the middle of the field. He can be playing down, play the run as a box safety. Heck, if you have a crazy amount of injuries, and now they have Jermaine, so they don't necessarily need him, but you could bump him out wide should you need to put him out there. And he's been so good. And really, he's not a big vocal me guy.
No.
Watched him fly around, and he maybe doesn't have tons of stats, but he triggers in the run, and his versatility gives this defense the option and the ability to be really stinking good.
I mean, hey, let's not kid ourselves, guys. Jordan Hancock has 45 tackles, got a half sack. I'm just looking up his stuff. He has 7 pass deflected, 1 INT this year. 6'1", 195 pounds, 200 pounds. So a bigger guy, and he's your slot cornerback, but the way they're using him in the 3 safety deal, he has so much versatility. And to your point, Bob, he's just a guy that just goes about and handles his business, and he's put himself in a position to not come off the field, right? He really didn't know how all the fit is, and that's part of what I think Jim Knowles has done this year. I was just even looking this up a couple days ago. Guys, last year they had 23 sacks, I believe, all season. They have 51 sacks this year. Now, again, we played more games, but they got 51 sacks. Think about that.
The last, they have 16 in the last 3.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But again, back to Jordan. I think he's one of those guys that just because he goes about doing his businesses, and you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, just because you're not a captain doesn't mean you're a leader. And there's people that are lead and they just do it different ways. And Jordan is that type of guy. He just goes out and handles his business. And he's somebody that you can count on. There is a tremendous amount of value. And again, life lessons from football of being somebody that you can count on. And the Buckeyes have counted on him to be able to do a lot of things versus a lot of different looks this year.
Exactly. It's like that dude with the nail in his head in Happy Gilmore. And you can count on me, shooter, waiting for you in the parking lot.
I believe that belongs to Mr. Gilmore.
But back with Jordan, 6 tackles versus Texas, and you go back and watch him play in the game, and he's firing, he's triggering, he's the guy, one of the guys on the perimeter, and it's his versatility that has allowed them to play Caleb Downs in the middle of the field and have kind of be a drop down. It's his ability to drop and play in the slot, play in the run. It's his ability to play on the back half and play cover 2 with him and Lathan getting deep. And then all of a sudden you just see Caleb hanging out there in the middle of the field and being able to roam. And so when you have a guy that does that, so here's the best part, man. I saw Jordan in the weight room the other day and I just look at him like, it's been a long road. He's overcome a lot, played outside, played inside, trying to work through all this stuff. Jim Knowles gets here and change up the defense a little bit. And, he's a guy that hasn't been talked about a ton. Now, last year I was worried. I was like, man, I hope he comes back because I want to be able to see what he can do. And I thought that Denzel would leave and he would be able to slide outside. And then all of a sudden you see how well Jermaine Matthews is playing. It's like, boom, well, there's your backup there. You can play him inside. And then you're worried, like, well, what if he gets hurt? Like, if he gets hurt, we're in trouble. Now, thankfully, Lorenzo Styles has stepped up and done a pretty good job. And they've even played those guys together some in some different packages when they get more DBs on the field. But it's something that, most people don't necessarily value because he's not out there, with all the interceptions and playing lockdown corner and everything else. But he's a guy that's invaluable. And I told him, I go, you have the ability to kind of do what Malcolm Jenkins did last year or did when he was in the NFL. You can start out playing outside. You can play free safety. You're going to be versatile enough and you're smart enough to be like, hey, you can come down, dude. Now we can play some strong. You can play some slot corner. And doing that, you never have to substitute. And so that's the advantage that it gives you is when you're playing Texas, like they go 12 personnel, that's fine. We're good. We got to do this 200 pounds out here on the edge that can tackle and run fit and also go play your tight end man. And then you want to go 11 personnel, boom, we can put him out over a slot receiver. We can do these things. And you don't have to substitute. So that gives you greater flexibility to have your looks. And Chip Kelly talked about it earlier this week where the conversation came up. Are you going to use more 12 personnel? And he said, well, it's something we use a lot of 12, use some 11. You see some of them do some 21 pony Schlegs with 2 running backs in there and a tight end. Sometimes they do what's called 20 pony, which is 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. And it's like, it's all a feeling out process to see how the defense is going to fit against you. And, when you look at tonight's game, like you're going to see that they'll get in this. He's like, if we like the matchup, boom, well, we're going to, continue to do it. If they do something that, we really didn't like it, we were hoping they do something else. Okay, then you get out of that personnel grouping, or maybe you try to formation it a little different, or, run versus pass versus run, depending on how they match it up. But when you have a guy like Jordan Hancock, it's like, well, are they going to go to a third linebacker? Maybe, but other games they haven't, and it really hasn't impacted him because his ability to do a lot of different things. And so when you have that Swiss Army knife, it frees up everybody else. And for a guy that's worked his butt off and has done one hell of a job this year, and he's made some big plays. You mentioned the interception, the 45 tackles, the 6 against Texas, and you watch him like shooting in the backfield and making tackles at, near, behind the line of scrimmage. Like he's a physical player, and he's not a guy that you hear talk a lot, and he's not a me rally guy. But he's just a dude that goes out there and does his job. And man, like for his final game tonight, I hope he has one hell of a game. And the guy gets all the credit that he deserves because he is one that doesn't really seek it on this football team.
Yeah. And his last name is Hancock. I wonder if he's related to John. That's something I need to, or Herbie Hancock. I got to ask him, are you related to those guys? But guys, he's second on the team in pass breakups. And to your point, Bob, not only has this year probably provided more draft status for him because he can play multiple positions. And again, the league is all about opportunity and fits. And when you have a guy that can come in and play special teams, but he can play corner, he can play slot corner, he can play safety, like it just adds a tremendous amount of value that you want to pick up a guy like that. And he's doing it at a high level. And just somebody that you're really excited for and to watch, because everybody gets focused on the stars, right? Like the name, the household name guys. But Jordan is up there, man. I mean, he has 45 tackles this season, and he's second on the team in pass breakups with Cody, 2 behind IGB. Like, good for him, man. He has 2 forced fumbles. He has 2 forced fumbles this year. So he's a hitter. He's a hitter, and that's the thing. Like, when we'll talk about keys to the game, but they got to play violent, man. And Jordan is playing violently.
Doing a great job. All right, put a pin in that. We got some more of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
Welcome to Big Play, the fastest growing sports media company in America.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you. The reason you should watch our show is because I look good, baby.
Come get some!
Join our millions of fans for live sports talk shows hosted by the top former athletes and sports personalities in the industry.
Ohio, it's my home state.
Obviously, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan.
Watch what you want, where you want, when you want. Welcome to Big Play.
All right, welcome back into the program here. Super excited for the game tonight. Just the build up. You know, people ask about nerviness. No, I'm not really nervous. I get excited, and you know, one of the things, like, you start talking about nerves, and this is interesting. You talk about the excitement. One of the things that happened, you know, in the last game, you have these big plays. And I want to make sure we get to this. If we don't get to it today, who knows when we'll ever get to it. But the camera on Jack Sawyer, Pat, if we can pull that up. You know, they put together this camera package. And this is kind of how, you know, the Ohio State operates. So you can get these awesome views, these unbelievable shots. So they put this stuff together for social media. And so they had a camera on Jack Sawyer after his big play, obviously, to watch and see the celebration and watch everybody's faces. Well, the camera didn't make it very long because of just how excited he was. We can take a peek at this and see what happens.
Love you, brother. I love you, Coach. God's great, man. God's good. Let's go, Coach. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah! Let's go, bro!
Nope, that was the end of that. Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. He grabbed Ryan so hard and hugged him that the camera fell off, and was donezo. And that's the passion that you have. That's the passion that Jack plays with. It's so exciting to see. I just wanted to kind of highlight that because I saw that come through. I was like, man, that's some sweet stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, you're going out there and you live your whole life, and then you in a huge moment, right? 4th down, semifinals, team in the red zone, and you go up and you make a play like that. Like, emotion just comes out, right? And you know, it's the love of your coach, the love of your teammate, the love of competition, like all those things. But I mean, regardless, and that's the thing, Bob, regardless of what you do, the beauty of sports is that you're so passionate about playing that sport. Like, those emotions, those raw emotions come out because of all the work that you've done to be able to have those type of moments. So one, good for Jack, but two, it's great that I love that they did that. So you get to see the interaction, like what actually transpires there on the sideline with their coaches, man. They love each other. You know, they're excited for one another, right? And as a coach, the best thing that we could ever do, what gets us excited is when we get to watch guys mature and step up and play the way that they did. And for him, this really, guys, has started from the last year's Cotton Bowl when he had 3 sacks, arguably his best game ever at that time. And then now he's had a very steady, consistent season, and then it's just been lights out this year. So, man, good for him. Super fun to watch.
And it's funny, we talk about Jack Sawyer and how good this defensive line has been. And Schlegs, I know we've kind of emphasized the fact that they haven't drawn a holding call in whatever it's been all the way since Marshall. You know, all the way, week 3, they had one holding call on that. But, you know, Ohio State, when they play people, they haven't been – you think in your mind, like, okay, they don't get a lot of calls. And you think that, and you're like, but is there real evidence on that? Or is this just like purely anecdotal that they're not getting any penalty calls? And if we can throw up the bottom 10 teams in opponent penalties per game, it's amazing because this was put up by someone for Michigan, because Michigan's in this list too. But Ohio State, I believe there's 134 teams. Am I mistaken there, Shane?
Yeah, there's 134.
They're DFL, okay? Dead freaking last in opponent penalties per game. Now, usually you get penalties when there's a talent. It's either due to lack of discipline or a talent discrepancy. And so Ohio State's pretty damn good. And they play a lot of teams that are not as good as them, at least not as talented. So you think that you'd be able to garner some more PI. You'd be garnering some holding calls on offense and defense, something like that. But Ohio State is dead last. You have Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan, are all the Final Four in the bottom, and then Penn State coming at 128, which for the life of me, like that is wild to see that stat.
I mean, maybe it's just saying in the Big Ten, we let them play, Bob. We just let the boys play. Because when you have 5 teams in the bottom 10 and they're all Big Ten teams, something's there, So, or maybe our guys are just so good getting around the corner that we're not going to call holding, or, we just give him the benefit of the doubt, like, yeah, he has to hold on. It's kind of like the Jeremiah Smith play versus Tennessee, which is like they gave him an interception, but they didn't call PI. It was like, well, you know what? The guy's doing his best versus JJ. JJ should have caught that ball,
That's
like,
right.
I mean, that's where we're at.
Good,
So, it's kind of like when you're playing like pickup basketball and the guy's like really good and you're just going to foul the shit out of him all the time. You're like, foul. Like, bro, what are you talking about, foul? Like, I'm just playing aggressive. Like, I got to do whatever I got to do to win. Maybe the refs are just giving them the benefit of the doubt, or saying, you know what, like, we got to handicap it. You know what I mean? Like, that really is a holding, but he's going to have to really, really hold for us to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Really, really hold, because just a little bit of holding, like,
yeah, you got to let it slide because he's just so much better. He's just so much better. I mean, we got to make him earn these sacks, right? So we don't want to give him a holding penalty because then they'll just get more sacks. So it almost had to be a hands to the face or a face mask pull down, right? Then boom, yeah, holding.
So basically, it has to be like a mugging, like an assault, tackle, something like that.
They got to shank him. They got to shank him.
Yeah, they've got to shank him. All right, well, we're going to put a pin in that. Coming up next, we'll get some more of the stuff, the big stories coming throughout the weekend. But also, Schlegs, we're going to give you our 3 keys to a Buckeye victory tonight against the Fighting Irish. But first, Schlegs, we tell you about our friends over at Export. I was telling you about them last week with our guy Lou Holt, because you don't want to be talking like that. Because you want to be safe with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes and designed by an NHL team dentist. They're scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards also feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including patented use of carbon fiber, custom 3D prints, your own unique smile. So you're not talking like this. For better protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby. Save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
All right, Schlegs. Preston always give us his 3 keys to the victory, and they're always the same. Mistake-free, opportunistic offense, relentless defense, superior special units. I'm sure Marcus has his own spin on that. But if we get into the weeds a little bit more, how to win this game. How are the Buckeyes going to win a national championship under Ryan Day, his first, their 3rd consecutive under 3 consecutive coaches? How are they going to do that? Give us those 3 keys to the Buckeye victory tonight.
Unlike what Lou Holt said when we were talking about last Thursday, Bob, about don't lose the game. They're going to play to win the game. And the Buckeyes have been playing to win the game by starting fast. Like, that's really the number one thing. Remember, Penn State was up 10-0, and then Notre Dame came back, got 17 points. But it all goes back. Like, you go look at all of their games, they scored on their opening drive, right? And then after that, the defense did their job and they scored again the first two versus Tennessee and Oregon. So you got to start fast, play fast and violent, number one. And I got 4 of them. So number 2, push them around, win the line of scrimmage. Sorry. You got to. I'm anxious to see our offensive line versus their defensive line. I don't think they're that big. Penn State ran for 204. I'm excited to watch this matchup. I'm excited to watch our younger guys up front who've been doing a really good job. Luke Montgomery, we talked about. Ryan's been giving his flowers. Great. I want to see that up front. Donnie's been doing fantastic. Josh Fryer, let's freaking go. Push around, win the line of scrimmage. And with that goes the next one, hit Riley Leonard. But you hit Riley Leonard by winning first and second down. He had 2 interceptions versus Penn State. One was on 3rd and 12. The other first and 10. But you got to get him behind the sticks, right? So you got to be really good on first and second down. He's going to run the football. But you have to hit him. They played an already big quarterback, honestly, surprisingly more physical than I thought in that Nico Imalava. Okay, I'm just going to say, let me leave you. Okay, whatever. All right, they cracked his helmet twice. Guy kept coming. I like that guy. But let's hit Riley Leonard. Let's hit him. Let's hit him. Let's hit him often. Let's sack him. But you got to do that, and you can sack him. Penn State had 5 sacks on the guy, man. So make sure that he doesn't have a lot of time out there. Last and certainly not least, but it's the explosive play / turnover. And that means this. It means we can't give them up. They had to rely upon some explosive plays versus Penn State. I don't know if they can do that with our secondary. They have a very good secondary. Where does that explosive play line up for the Ohio State offense? We saw it last week. It didn't come from a Jeremiah Smith. It came from a Trevion Henderson, right? So, and he already had another one versus Oregon. So what does that look like? Those explosive plays, turnovers do matter, especially for the Buckeyes, because that's how Notre Dame wants to steal possessions, Bob. What are yours?
Those are pretty good, Schlegs. And there's going to be a little overlap. There'll be a little carryover because, I mean, I think everybody looks at this game, and you may have your own little idiosyncratic things with it, but there is a lot of symmetry when you look at this game and how Notre Dame has a pathway to victory. So number 1 for me, Riley Leonard. He has been, I would say, the straw that stirs the drink, but he is the drink half the time. And his conversion on 3rd down is unbelievable. And you go look, he had less than, I think, 30 or 40 yards in their last game against Penn State. There's games where he has 80. There's games where he rushes for 30. But in all the big games, he's rushing more than 10 or 12 times. And the bigger the game, the more rushes he's going to get because it's going to come down to moving the football in the final minutes. Now, if you can get a lead, this is a little bit different. But the way that you can take his legs out of it is you've got to win on 1st and 2nd down and keep Notre Dame out of 3rd and manageable. You can talk about stuffing him on 3rd and 4th down. You can talk about taking Riley Leonard out of the game and making sure that he doesn't, stuffing him when he runs the ball and all that. But the best way to be able to do that is if you can sit there and get them in 3rd and 6. They'll still run some of them, but they're not going to run it all of the time in 3rd and 6. And so if you can keep them in really 3rd and 7 plus, you'll feel good about it. That is going to be the key. That'll be the goal. And Riley Leonard, listen, he's not the prettiest runner, but he freaking finds a way to move the chains. If he needs 5, he gets 5.5. If he needs 3, he gets 3.5. If he needs half a yard, man, well, he finds a way to get about 20 inches, and that's all he needs. So he keeps those chains moving on 3rd and 4th down. It's very, very impressive. That's number 1. Number 2, I go back to that Georgia game, and it's gonna you got to be clean on special teams. That game swung on the kickoff return. And they got too big of a lead, and Georgia didn't have the offense. Notre Dame, if you look at it, they're good in trying to flip field position. They're good in the return game. Marcus might have something. It would not surprise me if they've got some sort of a reverse on a punt or a kickoff return, if they've got a fake punt in there, if they've got a punt block in there. They'll probably be down in them inside the 10. We talked to Tress on Wednesday on my local show, and he was talking about the game against LSU and how the special teams kind of let it get away from them, where they had an opportunity to block a punt, one underneath the guy, where they had a big return against them, where they hit the snapper and gave it 15 yards and kept them moving. So the special teams are critical. That's one of the few games Tress had issues in a big game on special teams, and it probably cost them the game. And so Marcus, I guarantee you, will lean into that. They will have something on special teams. They will be clean. They'll try to win the hidden yardage battle. When you start talking about field position and drive start, that's going to be big. And then lastly, Schlegs, and this is simple, and I keep it simple for Ohio State. because if they go out and play their game, they're going to be fine. They have explosive athletes, but turnover battle. It's going to come down to Penn State. I was surprised and impressed that they were able to overcome some turnover issues against Penn State. They go down 2-0 in the turnover battle. They're able to battle back, and ultimately the final turnover by Penn State is the one that cost them the game. So if Ohio State doesn't turn the football over, if they can force some turnovers, force a huge turnover against Quinn Ewers, almost had Arch Manning cough one up. They've done a good job of pressuring. And if you can force Notre Dame to throw, you might be able to get some more. So if you can get a lead, then you get that pass rush going, lean into them. If you can get them in the third and longs, you can force those turnovers. All of that is right there. And so that is there for them. Those are the three things. If they do that, this isn't some spectacular plays they need. They don't need anything crazy, Schlegs. They just have to be able to go out there and execute. And it's a DYJ game. Do your job. And if they do that and don't give up the explosives and all those different things, and the three things I just mentioned, like that's it for you right there. So that's pretty sweet. We'll take care of that and be able to get that done for the Buckeyes. So those are the three keys to victory from Schlegs and I. Coming up next, we got our headlines. Stay locked in.
Welcome to Big Play, the fastest growing sports media company in America.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you. The reason you should watch our show is because I look good, baby.
Come get some!
Join our millions of fans for live sports talk shows hosted by the top former athletes and sports personalities in the industry.
Ohio, it's my home state.
Obviously, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan.
Watch what you want, where you want, when you want. Welcome to Big Play.
All right, game tonight. What are you going to be wearing? We talked about this in the Rose Bowl. They had the little roses through the stripes legs, which was pretty sweet. It was a sick little deal. And you had to see them close up, but they look good when you zoomed in on them. Ohio State, I don't know, in 2006, I believe, the year after we left Schlegs, they went to a different stripe pattern. People didn't like it because you got rid of the gray. I love the gray in the sleeves. It's a big deal. Gosh, it looks sweet. And they've gone away from them. Now they're called the heritage stripes. Why can't they do it all the time? Because Nike doesn't want to. You tell Nike we're going to do this. But either way, you pop them out for the big games. They'll be wearing the white. Notre Dame will be in their navy. And you have the heritage stripe up there. The jersey that it was meant to be. The gray with the scarlet with the black trim, not the red and the black. We don't need to be Rutgers out there. Give me the scarlet and gray with the black accent. There it is, Jack Sawyer modeling that thing with a sweet right arm sleeve tattoo. Yeah. I love it. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are I need to get some more tats. Second thought is I got some ideas. Second thought, that's something we should probably put in the chat at some point, Bob. The next one is I don't understand because like literally one in the Cotton Bowl, they should have had like little cotton things like in the hat, like in the stripe on the helmet. I think that's kind of cool, or oranges or whatever one you're in, or we did it for the Rose Bowl. That would be sweet.
Well, it's a red stripe, so the rose kind of fits. I don't know if like the cotton's white.
It's just an symbol. It doesn't matter. What also, Jackson, this is by far, in my opinion, and I know I'm biased, but this is the most beautiful ensemble of a uniform that you could ever have. Like the silver bullet helmet, the white jersey, scarlet and gray, which are our freaking colors. Black is not on there. That's why I thought they're on the sleeve, right? It's what your colors are. You get two. It's scarlet and gray. Scarlet and gray. Not scarlet, like scarlet black. Like that's absolutely asinine. And then you got the gray pants with the stripe on the side. Like that is a badass uniform. Now, the next question would be, what kind of J's is Jack. He's been rocking the Jordan 1 Chicago Bulls red Nikes. I love that, man. I wish we had them. But like, guys, this is by far my favorite uniform. We wore these in the Fiesta Bowl our senior year, Bob. Like, this is my favorite uniform for the Buckeyes.
I love it. I wore those uniforms 3 times. We were 3-0. We won every bowl game, Schlegs, but there's something about I always loved our away whites. You know, when you wear them, they have the gray on the sleeve. Like, you know, it felt like you're going into enemy territory. And if you're a bowl game, like, yeah, we weren't respected enough. Nobody cared about us being here. We're the underdog. And Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Ohio State. So they're technically the home team in this, despite Ohio State being favored. So they got to pick, and they wanted to wear their Navy. I was surprised. I don't think they're wearing their green. I think it's just the Navy. So they got that. But these two guys, you talked about Jack, and with the JT and Jack stats down at the bottom, with how good these guys have been in the playoff, because it has been something that has been unbelievable to see and to watch the skill and talent of these guys. And I'm hoping for another big one for them. But those two guys combined, the two big DNs that have been here for 4 years in the playoffs, 21 tackles, 12 TFLs, 10 sacks, 8 PBUs, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 touchdown. Like, between two guys. I mean, if you told me you had a whole 4 defensive line that did that, that would be remarkable. That's 2 dudes, the bookends. They've got that done, and it's been awesome to see. And I'm looking forward for another big game from those guys tonight. If they can play, they may not have all the sacks because it may not be a pass game like that, but if they're able to lean in, stuff the run, man, because they're big physical dudes, I can't wait to see it.
It's something about that Oregon game, Bob, and just like transitioned everything for Ohio State. These guys combined have 20 and a half sacks on the season, right? JTT has 11 and a half and Jack has 9. But Jack, I mean, he has affected the quarterback in multiple games without getting a sack. He's had a lot of pressure. Looking at those stats, so first off, JT had the first tackle on the line of scrimmage in that goal line, crashing in from the end, doing his job. Like, Jack set that up. You know what I'm saying? And then, JT set that up. And then Jack had the pressure on the 3rd down, and then he had the strip sack, fumble return for a touchdown on the 4th down. Like, these guys are playing their best ball at the end of their college career, and it is just so fun to watch. Like they love each other, man. They came to Ohio State like 1 and 2 at their position. They knew it. Competitive excellence. We're going to be the bookends in here at Ohio State for 4 years. Let's ride. And they're riding off into the sunset. They got to get it done tonight. Excited to watch it.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, Schlegs, that's our headlines. We've got our tailgate talk where we answer your questions, your comments. Throw them in the chat. Throw the comments out there in the YouTube comment section. We love it. Your questions, whatever it is, keep those comments. Coming up next, brought to you by our friends at Real Track.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, Schlegs, we got a ton of questions here brought to you by our friends in Tailgate Talk with Real Truck. Go to realtruck.com. They've got unbelievable stuff for the interior and exterior of your truck, Jeep, Bronco. They got stuff for your car. Schlegs got the hat. Look how sweet that is. Here's the best part. You go there, you spend $100, use promo code Bobby at checkout. You get one of those hats for free. They've got accessories. They've got the bumpers, the winches. They've got coolers. They've got seat covers, which I need to get some for my Jeep before I get it rolling again. I can't wait to get that bad boy out. Schlegs, you got to see it. Got the winch on the front, got a new bumper on the back, and the bumper with that, new bumper on the back. Got to get the lights wired in, but super juice to be able to drive that thing around as soon as it gets warm. It'll be warm before too long. So go check them out. Bring your truck, Jeep, Bronco to life at realtruck.com. All right, Schlegs. This one is coming from Honky Kong 4674. I think you're going to like it. He said, I love Schlegs. A chin to rival any superhero and eyeballs to rival any Muppet. 4 more quarters.
I love that, man. That's a great one.
It is.
I mean, my eyeballs are like a puppet, though. Like, what does that mean? That's like they're
Muppet.
big. And
They're big. Like, you get super juice, dude.
I do. I'm like, right. I'm excited. I like to bring the expression out. I want people to feel me through.
That's what she said.
Through the YouTube machine. Yeah, they're feeling it the entire time because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about these guys. I'm passionate about articulating about college football and the lessons and all this stuff and training. Super excited tonight. But I'm with you, man. Is it Donkey Hong?
It is
Honky Dong.
Honky Kong. So
okay.
You got that
Love
there.
That, man. Freaking, I guarantee you wear some kind of Durango boots. My guy.
This one coming from Harvey Dilworth. Tell me AJ isn't cool hand Luke. He is so cool. AJ is as smooth as butter, which he's gotten a lot smoother. He used to be ridiculous.
I love his Bob impersonations, guys, are fantastic. Next time he's on the show, we got to have some Bob impersonations of AJ. But he has gotten smoother, and he looks way better. We're all like fine wines, Bob, just getting better with age.
Absolutely. This one comes from Mark Shover, 6993. Bobby, listen to your show with Jacob Hester today. I do some this from Wednesday, chat with AJ's show. Glad to hear you realize it's expensive to go to all the games. I realize it's expensive because I'm paying for to go to all the games. No one's paying for me. I'm paying myself. So booking the flights. We got a media rate at the hotel, and it's still over $1,000 for a couple of days. First time my wife and I have ever said anything about the cost. She said it just keeps going and going. Of course, since I'm retired, I had to fly to all the locations. She told me next year, no regular season games. I'm hoping she changes her mind before next season so I don't have to sick Schlegs on her or get a job again. Thanks for the great shows. That's one of the things. Like I think they're going to end up expanding, and then you're probably going to have to go 2 rounds of home sites because it's just a lot. It's a lot on folks. It's expensive, man. The time is crazy, number one, coming off the holidays, and then the cost is just getting astronomical to book these on such short notice.
Yeah. I mean, one, he's okay. He has 69 in his name. She'll come around. Number 2, it is redonkulous. And Bob, we got very lucky to go to the Cotton Bowl and the prices of the Cotton Bowl because I have season tickets. But still, the national championship game, guys, are almost $1,000. It's like, hey, I got to pull out of my kids' $529 plan so I can go to a freaking football game with just one ticket, right? It's like, I listen, guys, I totally get it. And we all can't go, which is also why it's not bad to be there and celebrate the Buckeyes winning with your family. But sometimes you just got to charge it to winning.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I said it's a one-time thing. Like, I can't wait. Schlegs, I went in 14 on that run. I was lucky. I went in 16, and that was a beatdown of epic proportion. Didn't like that. I've not been to a game since. So I went, obviously, to the Cotton Bowl, heading in Atlanta now for the game tonight. So super excited for that. Schlegs, they want to know also, Ben Man 5078 down at the bottom, Pat said, what is Anthony's pre-workout today?
Oh, man. Guys, today's pre-workout, of which
there he goes. He's running away. Easy.
It was.
Easy
I just did the good old Bang Blue Raz. And if you're out there in the chat world, or you want to get on the IG world or the Twitter game, X game, maybe we should start our own brand of energy drink. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, listen, a lot of caffeinate and dominate's been going on. So every morning it's a double shot of espresso in the coffee from the Keurig, right? And then boom, after I pound that, I hit a pre-workout. Then I roll into Grandview Pro Fitness or the Armory, get super bumpy. And then I don't have any more caffeine, but I might do a LTFG, let's freaking go, caffeine pouch with some nicotine. That has 200 milligrams in there, but then I'm done. I cut it off at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, I'm done with caffeine because if not, I won't sleep and I'll have to take 30 grams of melatonin.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's the finisher, Schlegs. I mean, that's your finisher is the melatonin, the finisher for the day. Last one here coming from Andy Roush, 5798, right there in the middle. Pat said, make AJ a regular. The three of you together are hilarious. AJ is a regular. He comes on every Wednesday. Wednesdays are for AJ. And sometimes you have to shift it around because of holidays with Christmas and New Year's there. Listen, he tries his butt out to get here, and he's got to be sitting down for McAfee at 1. So I said, Poof David Copperfield, be here at 12:30. We'll have a good time with it and get it rolling. All right, that's it for our tailgate talk brought to you by Real Truck. Thank you for all your comments and everything. We love answering them. Thank you for watching the show. All right, coming up next, we'll get Schlegs' parting thoughts right before the national championship game. Poof David Copperfield. See you next.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
All right, Schlegs, and we have our score predictions that we got to get to now. So before we get to that, I'm going to give you my score prediction. I don't think this is going to be a crazy high-scoring game. I like the Buckeyes. We'll say 27-17.
27-17. That means it's a touchdown and 2 field goals. I haven't seen our guy kick a field goal, and we've been scoring. Man. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you, man.
24-14 sounds good, too.
It does. It does. I didn't do this last week because I was like being kind of conservative because of how I viewed Texas, but I'm not. It's going to be 31-17.
Oh, Buckeyes, like it. Big score. All right, Schlegs, you got about 40 seconds. What do you got?
40 seconds. Here's the deal, guys. Tonight's the night. We've seen the resiliency of this team. Cheer on your Buckeyes. Don't get on the social and just like absolutely go crazy throughout it. Let it all play out. But I want you tonight, I want you to watch both sides of the ball. I want you to watch how hard the athletes play. Because to me, like that's the beauty of college football. They're out there. These teams, I believe, both culturally are very, very strong. They're playing for one another. Watch how hard they play. Now, while you watch how hard they play, watch who taps out sometimes. Right? Watch when that happens. I want you to go and evaluate and see those moments because I guarantee you there are going to be some. And so it's going to be a great game. It's the first one of the 12-team playoff. Enjoy it, have fun, and ultimately go Bucks.
All right. Well, probably a little bit later show on Tuesday. I'm going to be flying back. So just chill, hang in there. We'll be here locked in with you. Stay with us. Stay locked in here on Tuesday for the Bobby Carpenter Show.